Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm back with a very simple bouquet painting. I actually like this. It's kind of a bit grey, but there are lights on the highway, so I hope you'll find this useful. So right now I'm doing a simple sketch of the highway. There isn't much details in this, so this is the divider, and then now I'm painting the sky in deep grey. I'm mainly only going to be using a few colors, which are deep gray for the top part of the sky along with the roads, and then right now I'm going to blend in Payne's gray. So this is to kind of indicate a little bit of trees, but what I want to do is while the paint is still wet, I want to blend it into the deep gray, so it kind of looks like a bit misty and a little bit blurry. So I'm just kind of moving the brush in this kind of circular motion on the top part of the dark gray, and then I'm going to continue to blend and soften it until you can't see any of those lines and it's like one smooth gradient. Now I'm going to add another round tree or big bush here on the left side of the canvas. I'm going to use Payne's gray as well, and then I'm just going to fill this whole part in, and then I'm going to continue with the road. We're going to blur that later. So the road, I'm still using deep gray, and then there's going to be like a divider from on this side to separate the road, and I'm going to be painting this in Payne's gray mixed with just a little bit of black. So what I'm doing now is I want to blur this divider as well, and by doing so I'm using Payne's gray and I'm going to mix it with deep gray, which is the color of the road, and I'm going to paint in the middle. So the sharp line of the divider, I'm going to blend it so it also becomes just kind of blurry and one gradient. So right now I'm painting this side of the road in deep gray, and I'm going to use the same technique over here. I'm going to mix Payne's gray mixed with deep gray, and I'm going to blend that sharp line that's dividing both the colors. This technique works better when the paint is still wet, so it's much easier to blend, especially when using acrylics because it dries really fast. Next, I'm going to properly paint this bush here or this tree here on the left, and then with the same technique I'm going to blur the edges. So I'm going to mix Payne's gray and deep gray. Then I'm going to paint around the tree, like the corners, the edges of it, and then I'm going to blend it so it softens the edges, and you can see that the lines aren't as harsh. Once that's done, we're going to add cars on the road. I'm using Payne's gray for this, and I'm not good at drawing, so I love this style because it doesn't have to be realistic or very accurate. So I'm just drawing a rough shape of the car, and then I'm going to paint it in Payne's gray. Then I'm going to mix a bit of pale gray to draw the rear windshield, and moss black for the tires, and a black stripe across to indicate the number plate or just the design of the car. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the car. I'm going to mix Payne's gray with deep gray, and I'm going to blur around the edges as well so that the car looks a little bit blurry. And I'm going to balance it by filling up the space here, and I'm going to draw another car using the same techniques, the same colors, and pretty much identical. And once this is done, I'm going to blur it as well, mix the Payne's gray with the deep gray, and soften the edges of the car, and including the things in the car as well. For example, the windshield, the tires, and the number plate. We're going to blur it all so that it becomes a bit fuzzy. Now we're gonna add bokeh lights on the opposite side of the road. So this is gonna indicate traffic coming our way on the opposite direction. So the colors that I'm using are orange yellow, Naples yellow, and titanium white. So I'm gonna create this kind of like string of lights, and the circles are gonna appear just slightly bigger as it comes closer to the forefront of the canvas. Once you've got the string of lights, right now I'm just painting over it for the second layer. And recently, this is what I like to do with my bokeh circles. I like to soften it. By doing so, what I'm going to do is I'm taking deep gray, and I'm mixing it with the color of the bokeh circle, and I'm painting around it to soften it so you have this kind of like halo effect around the bokeh circles. I find that adding this additional step to the bokeh circles, it really helps to make it look a little bit more distant and just overall a bit more softer and hazy, which kind of fits the whole landscape theme that we're painting right now. So I'm going to continue to do this until all the circles are softened with that halo around them, and then I'm going to add the brake lights for these two cars, which are in scarlet red. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the brake lights. I'm going to paint around it, but I'm going to use paint spray, which is the color of the car. I'm going to mix it with a bit of scarlet. I'm going to paint around it so it has the same blurry effect. And it is finished. I hope you like this very simple painting. I actually had a lot of fun painting this. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Goodbye.